Against the zombie horde you have two options, fight or flight. We have covered your parkour abilities in depth already, but what happens if you want to fight the zombies? What are the weapons at your disposal? This is Skool from Magical Noob, and today we're taking a look at the weapons and their customization option in Dying Light. Welcome to Dying Talk, episode 5. One of the questions you guys have asked is if there will be any guns in Dying Light, and the answer is yes! But they are definitely preferring melee combat, so while there will be guns in the game, they come with some limitations.
On top of that, yes, we have firearms, but two things you need to know about firearms. So first, they're pretty scarce, so you gotta be careful. Second thing, you gotta be careful even more because they're powerful, but they're also very loud, and the infected are attracted to noise, so there's a trade-off.
When we look at the footage of the game, we can see at least 3 fire weapons: a pistol, a shotgun, and an assault rifle. We should expect all of these to have limited ammo, so they should be used with caution. But what about the melee weapons? The tools that allow us to get close and personal with the affected? Well, there seem to be quite a lot of options. We have weapons that you can handle with only one hand, such as the axe, a small hammer, a wrench, a scythe, a crowbar, a random pipe, and different kinds of blades, such as machetes, knives, etc. There will also be heavier weapons that will require both of your hands to handle. There's a sledge hammer, a big fire axe, and although it isn't as heavy as the previous two, the baseball bat also requires both hands. And these are all the weapons that we can see throughout all the gameplay trailers and demos available to us at this point, but I guess it's safe to expect a few more weapons when the game finally comes out. Now, why am I focusing on how many hands you need to handle these weapons? It's not like you'll be able to dual wield them. So far, there hasn't been any indication that you will be able to hold one weapon on each hand if you so desire. So why is this important? It's because of the weight. The weight of the weapon matters because each one of them has a different swing animation. One-handed weapons tend to be lighter, so you're able to swing them faster, while two-handed weapons are heavier, which means their swing animation will be much slower, but they will also be more powerful and do more damage with each hit. The exception to this rule being the baseball bat, which despite being handled with both hands, it's still pretty light, so its swing animation is still quite fast. The weight and weapon type are both important because not only does it affect the swing animation, some weapons will also have special attacks. If we look at the two-handed fire axe, for example, you can swing it in a 360-degree angle, cutting all the zombies around you. This is a move that won't be possible with the small axe, for instance. You do this move by holding down the attack button, sort of charging your attack, and then you let it go at the appropriate time to execute the special move. You can charge your attack with any weapon, but only some of them will have these special attacks. As we can see with the small axe, the attack is being charged, and it's doing more damage than a regular attack, but it doesn't trigger an actual special attack like the 360 spin. The Sledge Hammer can also perform a special attack. Besides the 360-degree spin that we've seen before, you can jump with the Sledge Hammer and smash the ground, knocking down all the zombies around that area. It doesn't seem to do a lot of damage, but at least it gives you some breathing room. While melee weapons are more common than guns in Dying Light, you should still keep in mind that each weapon has its durability, we can see on the top left corner. The more you use a weapon, the more durability it loses. And if it works anything like that island, when a weapon's durability is low, it will also do less damage. You'll be able to repair these weapons if you have the necessary materials, but at some point they will also break permanently, so don't get too attached to your fire axe.
That means you need to find like little metal pieces and try to put them together when they break. In the end, they'll break completely, so you'll have to find something else. But that also means that you have to make choices.
I should also mention that from time to time you'll get critical strikes. Where are these? Well, they are attacks that do more damage, and they will happen from time to time, sort of randomly, and depending on the weapon you're holding, they will have different effects. For instance, if you have a weapon that cuts, such as an axe or a blade, a critical strike will cut off a limb from your enemies, an arm or a leg for instance, which will make the zombie easier to deal with, since it won't be able to walk or at least attack you with both arms. If you have a blunt weapon, you might break some bones, and the same principle applies. If a bone is broken, the zombie won't be able to use that limb anymore. Critical strikes are usually accompanied by a slow motion effect, while highlighting the area that you hit. In the case of blunt weapons, the bones will be highlighted through the skin, so you have no doubt that you just landed a critical strike. And now you don't have to worry about that arm or that leg anymore. Now, combat is pretty cool with all these different weapons, But what about customization? Can we pick these weapons up and make them do even cooler stuff? Well, the answer is yes, but Techland are being very quiet about it.
I would love to tell you about crafting because there's a lot of it. At this point, I can tell you that it's there, and so you'll have like recipes and you'll find stuff in the world that you can put together and create something exotic. Some of the stuff that we already shown. But we will cover crafting in details later this year.
Well, at least the end of the year isn't that far off, so we might get some extra info until then. For now, let's make our own conclusions by watching the gameplay footage available to us. So let's take these weapons we've seen previously and look at their upgraded versions. What do we have here? It seems there are a lot of weapons upgraded with electricity and fire, but then there are also some weapons which just seem to be reinforced in general. Let's start with the classic baseball bat. This one has spikes on it.
So this is something nice and simple, a spike bat, but when you use right, you can actually, like tear pieces of meat right off people. Like, yeah, alright, let's kill that guy too.
In practice, what this might mean is that the baseball bat does more damage with spikes on it, or it has a higher chance for landing critical strikes since it actually rips flesh out of the zombies. There's also a Sledge Hammer which seems to be reinforced. We don't see any kind of element coming out of it, such as electricity or fire, so it could simply be an upgrade for damage or durability. Some of the weapons are upgraded with fire, and this causes the zombies to combust, and the fire seems to somehow also spread to other zombies nearby. So they keep taking damage without you actually having to be close to them. It's a cool upgrade for damage over time and also crowd control capability. We also see a bunch of weapons equipped with electricity, but honestly, no idea what it does. Maybe it simply increases damage or critical strike chance, but that would just be me speculating. So guys, I need your help here. What do you think electricity does? Check out the gameplay demos, let's try to figure this out together. One thing I can point out about electricity is that if there is oil on the ground, the spark from the electricity will lit it up on fire. Other than that, no clue. And the last weapon we see on the gameplay demos is this pipe that is visible for a brief moment, and it is equipped with both fire and electricity. But despite all of that, how will you actually upgrade the weapons? Well, they've spoken several times about gathering resources during the day to not only upgrade your character but improve on your weapon. So resource gathering will be a big part of the weapon customization. And will it work just like Dead Island? Well, here's the answer for you.
Well, I wouldn't say it's really that similar. It is similar because it is crafting, but it works differently. It doesn't require you to use workbenches, so if you have that special skill, you can do it anywhere, and I think it's way more realistic.
I know it's a bit vague, but I'll keep my eyes out for any updates that come regarding weapon customization and pretty much anything else Dying Light related. There are still a bunch of topics that I want to cover on Dying Light, and I'm giving you guys the choice again. What would you like me to cover next? Would you like me to cover traps and decoys? Combat moves available to you outside of what we discussed with the weapons today? The different zombie types we'll be facing? Or, since new information came out since last time we talked about it, the PvP mode Be the Zombie in more detail? Let me know what you guys want next and what your theories are regarding the electricity upgrade on the weapons. Like the video while you're down there, it does help me out a lot, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more Dying Light videos. I've been Gloku. Take care everyone, see you next time.